Welcome back to PSC Tech Bytes. Today we keep on talking about the Microsoft Graph Toolkit components, and specifically I want to talk with you about the MGT Agenda component, which is really useful whenever you want to provide information about events in the agenda of the current user or in the agenda of a group or with a custom query. It is a highly customizable component, and as you can see here, there are plenty of options that you can configure, like the number of days to cover, the start date for the query, the event query if you want to provide a specific query for the event to show in the component, and so on and so forth. It is also customizable from a CSS point of view, and you can also create custom templates for the content that you will render in the component MGT Agenda component. So, like always, let me move to the demo environment and let me show you how to use in practice the MGT Agenda component. So, here we have the MGT Agenda in action. As you can see, we simply have a really easy and simple list of events with date and time, with subject and the list of attendees attending the event. In order to achieve this result, we simply need to use the MGT Agenda tag, and we will have to provide an ID eventually if we want to refer to the component in our code. Here I have the event query property that I use to specify what is the set of events that I want to query with this component. And you can, of course, play around these items. So, for example, you can say that you want to order the events by subject, just to make an example. And now we have the same list as before, but ordered by subject. Of course, it is a little bit better to order the events, for example, by date. So we can do stuff like that. And again, I can refresh and see the items ordered accordingly to the date and time of the event, and so on and so forth. We can also, for example, specify that we want to see just a maximum number of items. So we can say show max equal 3, and in our UI we will see just the top 3 items matching the query. And of course we can also eventually use the events property, and using the events property we can specify the data binding with a collection of events that we retrieved with our own code. Or we can eventually in code read the events that are bound to the UI of the agenda component. If you want, you can also specify in the event query that you want to target a specific calendar of a group. So, for example, you can provide the ID of a group and the calendar of that group, and so on and so forth. But another interesting option that you have is to customize the UI of the agenda component. So, by using the template tag, you can provide a custom template for a bunch of sections in the UI, like, for example, the event rendering, the header, the scenario when there are no data to show, and stuff like that. So here, for example, I'm going to provide a really simple template for the event of the agenda, and I will simply write in a div the subject on the event. Notice the syntax. And then we can go through all of the attendees of the event, and one by one we will simply render in a list the MGT person component to show every single person, every single attendee. So if I save this one and if I go back to the UI, you can see that we can see for all of the events. Actually, let me remove the show max to give you a better understanding of what is happening. So here we can see all of the events with their subject and with the attendees with the person component of MGT to render the attendee. So really powerful and simple to customize and to extend. Like always, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week. And remember, subscribe to this channel. Thank you.